what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it, and we hope you enjoy it. Get into what Brian Kelly had to say yesterday. Thanks for joining me down
He talked about this kickoff return too?
Yeah, he did. Oh, wow. Thanks for joining me down that trip, memory lane. No, actually, Jake, he did open the press conference in a way that I think you will love. He mentioned, we're done with Thursday. It's about that time to travel to Tupelo. Did you know Elvis was born in Tupelo, Mississippi?
You don't say, to you, Bob.
I know, but that's how he opened it. Asking.
Oh, he did.
That's what I'm saying. He did that. He did that.
I thought you were asking me. I'm like, T-Bob.
No.
Yeah, last time that I used to travel with the team, that's where we stayed, and I went and saw the house he grew up in. Of course, I knew that. Okay.
No,
I
knew you knew that.
Okay.
I knew you knew that. He was challenging the media, and whoever he was talking to, it seems like didn't get it right.
It was I don't know who it was. He's a
Better
young
not
guy
have been you,
up front.
Taylor.
No, but it wasn't me.
Yeah.
I know because when we were driving to Nashville in June, we spent the night in Tupelo, like kind of the halfway point. There was a 4-day Elvis convention in Tupelo when I was there.
Okay.
And I didn't get to go to it, but like there were people like all the hotels were sold out.
Yeah.
I mean, look, dude, he's the king. You know, what are you gonna do? Okay, so other things worth highlighting here, Jake. Mason Taylor remains questionable.
Yeah.
Seems like it's going to be a freshman fest when it comes to tight end. He mentioned Mac Markway first, and he said Kamorian Pimpton. True circle, I didn't recognize the other two names. Taylor, do you remember?
Yeah, Jackson McGowan, freshman, and then he said Gilbreth. Who's also a freshman. So all four are freshmen.
Yes.
Gilbreth is somebody that you might have missed it. Like if you blinked, you missed that one during the summer. Coming over from junior college in California. Okay. And true circle, I did not realize who that human was until I went to training camp practice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, who's 89? Like rotating in there with the one.
Oh, so he's been 89 on the goal line blocking.
Yeah.
Okay.
No
he's
gloves.
A freshman. He's a freshman. You know.
Well. Coming from junior college.
Oh, he's not a freshman.
Kelly said 4 freshmen. So I just assumed.
He did say 4 freshmen.
Well, he's young. I mean,
but whatever. I guess kind of a functional
first
freshman.
year non-JUCO.
But either way, the young gun's going to have to start up. Or going to have to step up. We all know how much Mike Denbrock likes her tight ends to be involved in this offense. You know how much Jaden Daniels. It's actually maybe one thing that worries me a bit about this game is and not much worries me, but just like if Mason Taylor is out, how does it change up Jaden Daniels? Because it has felt like the last couple of years, Jake, a lot of times that Mason Taylor's kind of be that comfort blanket for him.
Yeah, he definitely has trust in him. Like even going back to his first game that he ever played for LSU, both of them. Yeah, they had trust in that Florida State game in New Orleans, and so it could be a thing. I mean, that play where you have the 3 options, the zone read that turns into the little tight end flat, where you have the give, the run, or the throw. I mean, that's the guy who always runs that. So, like, who's going to be in that position?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm, but a good opportunity for a couple of young guns in Pimpton and Markway to do the same thing that Mason Taylor did last year, right? Where he was asked to step up, and he ends up getting pretty good by the end of the year. He did go ahead and confirm this is going to be a Weeks Brothers game, saying that Weston Witt and Greg Penn will handle the inside duties, and that Harold Perkins will be moving around, kind of roving around, hybrid, nickel Sam, rushing off the edge. Again, I think Harold Perkins is going to have a very big game. I think he is primed to have a big game. I don't know how much they're going to throw the ball, so I don't know if it ends in a sack. But okay, whatever. If I had the choice, if there's a prop bet, I would place a prop bet on Harold Perkins to get a sack. I feel confident.
Yeah, they only threw it 17 times in an overtime game last week, and I mean they are committed to the run. Let's say LSU goes out there and stops it, stonewalls them, and they can't get it done. I'll be curious to see if they panic and they start putting the ball in the air with more consistency, or if they're just going to be like, hey, old school, beat your head against a brick wall type offense. We're going to do it until we lean on you enough and we think we can break your spirits. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be because they're committed. They are committed 65% of the time to run the football.
I don't think that the LSU offense is going to allow them to do that. I'm very confident in this LSU offense. I feel that they're going to score enough where Mississippi State's going to have added pressure to keep up scoring-wise. I think LSU reaches high 30s in this game. and I struggle to see State getting past 20, quite frankly. And Brian Kelly, kind of in keeping with that, Jake, did say when it comes to offensively, kind of one of the concerns. Well, first off, he said he feels great about the pass game. Basically saying, look, Florida State, it was actually really good on the whole, save for the drops at the in the third quarter, and obviously 10 out of 10 scoring drives last week. Although, what are you going to learn last week? But like objectively, I think the pass game has been really solid, even if you could be better around the edges, maybe. He just said that the one thing that does concern me offensively is kind of what we've touched on, which is just being able to consistently decipher what Arnett is going to try to throw at you from a look standpoint.
Yeah,
where they're going to bring pressure from.
Yeah, and I think it was yesterday that we kind of broke it down. They were in nickel, 72 plays. They were in dime 4 plays, and so the 3-3-5, obviously 96% of the time or whatever that number ended up being yesterday. And that doesn't mean they're just going to line up 3-3-5. I mean, they have multiple fronts. They do have a little bit of an ability to walk around. Some of the linebackers in a 3-3-5, you'll have some bigger linebackers. They can certainly place themselves on the edge. It becomes a 4-man front. The Okie kind of goes away. So they can be very creative in how they get about getting guys after the quarterback. But I think Mississippi State's a little bit limited in the middle of their defense. Now, you don't have your tight end, right? So that could become something that does hurt you. But you got to have guys go over the middle, receivers go over the middle. Kyron Lacey, if he's in there, if he goes over the middle, he's got to come up with the catch, because I think that's where you can attack Mississippi State the most through the air, is right there in the middle of their defense.
Yeah, I don't know, Jake. This is a bit reductive, and TCU kind of laughed at this last year against Michigan, to be fair. But when I see a 3-3-5, I always think you should be able to run the ball. And when I look at this LSU offensive line, which I think is, I feel very confident saying now is the best position group on this team, you should be able to handle this Mississippi State front, and you should have success running the ball. I don't care if it's Caleb Jackson, who we talked about yesterday. No mention of John Emery in the Thursday practice, which I thought was a bit interesting, or in the Thursday media availability, I should say. Who did he talk about? He talked about Jackson. He talked about Diggs, and then he basically just talked about being patient. Thank you. Good teamwork. Talk about being patient with the run game, and that if it doesn't go right a couple times, you can't just abandon it.
Right, yeah, you can't do that. And you got multiple backs, and so you can roll a couple different out there. And when you have a bye committee, we all know this, you can have the hot hand, you're going to ride the hot hand. It was Logan Diggs
to
start.
As well.
Yeah, it was Logan Diggs to start the game last week, but all the backs played well. Jackson played well, Josh Williams played well. So you roll them out there, you see who has the hot hand. If one's not working, well, maybe it's not his style of game. Maybe it's somebody else. And so you have that ability. You got multiple guys that are going to be up. I don't know what John Emery's role would be in this game and where he's at right now with the team, but, I mean, you still have juice at the running back position.
Yeah. And again, you just, man, I don't know. Last night's game just made me so horny for running the ball, right? I just want to watch this LSU front just line up and just move guys around, dude. Just handle them. They don't look that good up front, not compared to you. And you know what? I'm really excited. I'm really excited to see Lance Hurd. Although this will be a real test for Lance Hurd, not just because the guys that he's going against are going to be, not half his size like they were last week, but because if I'm Arnett and I see Hurd in there, I'm going to try to scheme some stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm going to attack. The same way when you have a rookie corner or somebody enter the game, a backup, and you immediately attack them, I would try to attack Lance Hurd on the on a blitz, trying to confuse him about his responsibilities.
I want to flip real quick to the other side. I know you mentioned Greg Penn and Witten West Weeks. That's because Omar Spates is doubtful for this game.
Yeah.
And that also, like, that plays watching the tape. I think it's a groin, Taylor, if I'm not mistaken.
Ankle. I don't think he actually
He's an
scored.
ankle.
Yeah, it's an ankle, I believe.
It looked like it on tape against Grambling last week.
Yeah.
You watch him try to move. I mean, you could tell he was running with a limp. And so, like, he wasn't healthy in that game. And, maybe that changes some of the run fits, because he was a step late getting to some of those spots. Remember, we talked about it, and it looks like a player that was hurt. And so maybe some of the calls for concern on in those run fits, maybe that's because you had an injured player there, because they got to get better, T. They got to get better at fitting up the run in this game, because Mississippi State has Woody Marks, who is, I think he's the best back that you've played this year.
Okay, that's a bold, I mean, you handled Benson, so it's hard to argue against that.
Woody Marks, I mean, look, he's at Media Day, Mississippi State. They think a lot of him. He is the all-time leading receptions leader in Mississippi State history.
Yeah, or he will be after this weekend.
Yeah, he needs one catch.
Yeah.
He's tied right now, so he's still.
Oh, so he's the all-time.
Yeah, I mean, was Fred Ross, and then he just all of a sudden they're like, hey, you did that, but now we need you to be this, and he's doing this better than he did that.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's good for him in his NFL stock.
Oh, absolutely.
That's for sure, because he's proven that he can do both consistently. Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.